Welcome to the Midnight Library. I see you found your way here, despite the hour. Tell me, what time is it where you are? And where are you listening from?
People think grief looks like tears and sobbing, but the worst kind, it hollows you out. It silences the world, dulls the color, turns every sound into static. I used to be a DJ, commanding crowds with every beat I dropped. Pulse, rhythm, lights all dancing to my tempo, lost in the music I created. Now, for 3 months, I haven't touched my decks. Just sat in silence, lost in the dark. Her name was Callie. We were together for 11 years. I had the ring, I had everything planned. That night was supposed to be the night I proposed to her. But instead of that, I passed out drunk at my best friend, Jared's place. Then the phone rang. A crash, a fire. She was gone. They said she didn't feel a thing, but I did. And I still do. The guilt, the not knowing. That night never left me. Since that day, my days melted into a blur, gray mornings, darker nights. I lost all my desires to perform. My DJ equipment sat in silence, not just untouched, but unwanted. Melodies that used to mean everything now reduced to clutter, gathering dust in the dark. I barely ate, slept through sunsets, lived in hoodies and yesterday's breath. Then Jared barged in, tossed a pizza on my counter and looked at me like he was staring at a ghost. "You need to go out," he said. "Somewhere, something, hell, even someone." I grunted. That was my answer. He waved his phone. "I've signed you up on an online blind date event. Random, anonymous, no pressure, 1 hour, just talk." I scoffed, rolled my eyes, but he wouldn't shut up. So I gave in. 1 hour, one stranger, how worse it could be. It was supposed to be just a dinner. 1 hour with a stranger. No strings, no expectations. The restaurant was dimly lit, soft music floating in the air. I wore black. Not for the event, just because it felt appropriate. Then she walked in. Tall, graceful, dressed in a pale cream coat and soft curls that bounced gently as she walked. Her heels clicked faintly on the restaurant floor, her eyes scanning the tables until they found me. And I swear, my heart stopped. She looked like Callie. Not a perfect copy, but close enough to twist the breath from my lungs. The same almond-shaped eyes, the same soft freckle under her lip, even the nervous way she pushed her hair behind one ear, just like Callie used to when she was trying not to seem too eager. I stared, disoriented. For a moment, I truly believed I was hallucinating. I pinched my thigh under the table, hard. But she didn't vanish. She smiled, walked up to my table, and introduced herself with a voice that carried both warmth and uncanny familiarity. And I couldn't speak, because it felt like Callie had returned from the dead. She wasn't Callie, but she was. I didn't know how to explain. Thank God she introduced herself as Nancy. She talked about her work as a movie makeup artist, about studying biology, something about working on a makeup competition next month. I barely heard her. All I could think was, could she be a twin? A cousin? But when I asked about her family, she answered without pause. Completely different background. Different everything. And yet, my chest stirred. It was like my nervous system rebooted. For the first time in months, I felt present, alive, anchored to something real again. Whatever she was or whoever she was, I didn't care. Because in that moment, sitting across from her, my heart remembered how to beat. We started dating. I introduced her to my friends. One by one, their reactions mirrored mine. Wide eyes, nervous laughs, They all said the same thing afterward, half joking, half serious. She looks just like Callie. And they weren't wrong. Even they felt it. That uncanny resemblance that feel like a haunting dream I didn't want to wake up from. I kept reminding myself, she wasn't Callie. She couldn't be. But the way she moved, the way she laughed and frowned and leaned in when she was curious, it all mirrored Callie so precisely it rattled me. And yet there were differences. Habits that didn't align. She avoided being near water. Said she couldn't swim. She disliked the heat. Always choosing dim and cool places. She never stayed over. Always returned to her apartment after our dates. And every night, no matter how late it got or how close we seemed, she always went home. She let me walk her to her apartment, but never invited me in. As strange as it all was, I respected her boundaries. Told myself it didn't matter, that it was just her way of being private. And maybe I just wanted so badly to believe in second chances, I ignored every flicker of doubt. Then, one Sunday morning, she texted me. Said she wanted to cook. Said she wanted me to stay over. I didn't know exactly why she changed her mind. She didn't explain. And I didn't ask. I was too excited to doubt anything. I rushed out to get wine and her favorite dessert, and a bouquet. My first since Callie's funeral. This had to mean something, a turning point, a new chapter. That night, I walked into Nancy's apartment for the first time. I stepped inside her apartment. It was everything you'd expect from a woman's place. Neat, warm, the scent of fresh linen and something sweet baking in the air. White walls, cozy lighting, a few delicate decor pieces, framed quotes, dried flowers and glass vases. Nothing unusual. Until I noticed a door slightly ajar at the end of the hallway. Out of curiosity, I peeked in. At first, I thought it was a studio. Makeup kits, mirrors, lights. But then, racks, shelves, mannequin heads. They were hyper-realistic, lifelike masks. I remembered she once mentioned makeup competitions. Maybe these were from that. Female faces staring blankly, skin textured with unsettling precision. Even one that looked eerily like Callie. I took a step closer, squinting at one of the masks. I leaned in. "Jake!" she called. She suddenly stood in front of me, out of nowhere. "What are you doing?" she asked. Her voice seemed high. Startled, I stammered. "Looking for a vase to put these flowers." I handed her the bouquet and forced a smile. And she smiled. "Dinner's ready." And then I followed her to the kitchen. We ate, we drank, we laughed. Later that night, I couldn't sleep. She fell asleep first, or maybe pretended to. I lay there staring at the ceiling, my heart drumming. Something didn't sit right. At 2:44 a.m., I heard movement. I turned. She wasn't beside me. I crept down the hall. The room with the masks was open now, fluorescent light humming. I peeked inside and saw her, sitting in front of the mirror, fingers hooked under the edges of her face. Not makeup, but full silicone mask. She peeled it off slowly, deliberately, revealing someone else entirely. She had sunken eyes with pale gray irises, unblinking, almost glassy. Her cheekbones were sharper, her skin paler, wax-like, as if she barely saw sunlight. Her lips curled into something that wasn't quite a smile, too wide, too knowing. My breath hitched in my throat. She wasn't Callie or Nancy. Who was she? Before I could process what I was seeing, she turned her head toward me, like she had always known I was there. And then, she smiled. An evil smile, slow and deliberate, stretching like a mask in itself. Cold shivers crept down my spine. But no matter how shocked I was, I somehow gathered the courage to ask, "Who are you?" She tilted her head, as if amused by the question. "Me?" she whispered. I could be anyone you want, Jake. Any face you like. She turned, her arm gesturing toward the wall of shelves, rows of masks, hauntingly real. But you only like this one, Callie's face. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I've been your fan for a long time. I sent you flowers, letters. You never noticed. You only ever looked at her. She stepped closer. You only loved her. That's when I decided, she said, eyes shining with obsession, to get rid of her and become her. Her confession didn't just shock me. It detonated something inside me. A storm of horror, betrayal, heartbreak, and fury. My hands trembled and clenched. Without thinking, I lunged at her. I grabbed her by the neck. My fingers tightening, rage surged like electricity. I wanted to end her. I wanted to make her pay. But she didn't flinch. She just smiled, that same wide, knowing grin. Like she wanted this. Like she had expected it. And then, in the darkness of that moment, I remembered Callie. She wouldn't want this. She wouldn't want me to become this. So I let her go. I stepped back, gasping, shaking. I pulled out my phone, called the police, and I waited. She didn't try to escape. She was sitting on the floor of her living room. Not scared, not crying, just laughing. Why, Jake? She said, eyes wild. Why didn't you kill me? Is it because I look like her? Because I wear her face? Why do you love Callie so much? She kept ranting, firing questions into the air, as if trying to reach something in me that had already shut down. But I no longer paid attention. I was too busy drowning in grief, the kind that came in waves. Shock, sorrow, rage, guilt. My lungs couldn't hold them all. Callie, my Callie. Never in 1,000 nightmares did I imagine she'd end this way. My knees buckled as the weight of it all crushed me from within. And by the time the officers cuffed her and led her away, her laughter echoing like static in my ears, I collapsed. The next morning, I visited Callie's grave. I brought her favorite flowers, white lilies and soft pink peonies, the ones she used to buy herself every Sunday. I stood there in silence, unsure of what to say. The breeze rustled the leaves above, and the weight in my chest felt heavier than ever. I reached into my coat pocket and pulled out the velvet box, the ring I never got to give her. I opened it, stared at it for a long time, then knelt down and dug a small hollow in the soil beside her stone. I placed it there. This was meant for you. My voice cracked, but maybe it belongs here now. I stood back up, wiped my face, and exhaled. Some pain never leaves, but sometimes we bury a piece of it so we can keep walking. I don't know what comes next, but for now I think it's better I stay alone for a while, because sometimes grief doesn't wear black. Sometimes it wears the face you loved most.
Another chapter closed. Leave the candle lit in the comments and tell us what part of the story stayed with you.